this, but the Joker is like a toxic ex, and he's never gonna change because he's never gonna acknowledge your behavior. And you need to move on. And by move on, I mean point the gun to his temple. I'm not advocating for murder, but I am advocating for the murder of a child murderer. Hi, I'm Clown, or Mo. Whatever you want to call me, I really don't give a shit. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about the 1966 adaptation of Batman and why it is so unbelievably fire, why we're sleeping on it, and why it's my personal favorite adaptation of Batman. Keep in mind that if and when I make more videos on Batman topics, my opinions on like media
revolving Batman is heavily influenced by this show because it was one of the first Batman adaptations I personally ever watched, and because of that, it has really influenced how I like my Batman.
You know, how I like my Batman media. I like camp and I like goofy, silly, haha. I'm not a serious person, girl. I don't want things to be serious. I love it if you love serious Batman stuff, but like, it can be both. You can have both. I just prefer the silliness, and that's okay. Anyways, so the dynamic of this show is very interesting because it's constantly going back to the status quo. Like, the show never really... I wouldn't say characters grow. Characters don't really change. They're really taking the whole comic book thing seriously. Shows from, like, the 60s or whatever, characters didn't really grow or change. Like, I'm thinking about Star Trek, right? Like, one of, like, the, like, most popular shows from that era. Characters didn't really grow or change. They always went back to the status quo in the end, even if they learned new things. Like, their personalities never changed. So they were, like, flat, stagnant characters, I believe that's the term. And that's fine, if they're, like, good characters. You know, like, for example, Wander Over Yonder, picture on screen. He is a stagnant character. He never grows, he never changes, but he's a perfect protagonist for the show. So if you can just write well, it's fine, you know? Anyways, back on track. The characters in the show never really change, and they never really grow or develop, which is fine. I actually really like that, and that's because it really helps bring that comic book nature, you know, villain of the week, monster of the week kind of vibe, and that's really what this show is. Another thing we need to talk about when it comes to this show is how it is structured. The best way to break down the structure, it is very simple. You have the intro, you have the inciting incident where we see the villain either like breaking out of prison or like beginning his like crime, his or her crime spree, because there are male and female villains on this show. We love equality. Men and women can commit horrific acts. Correct. Yes. Anyways, after this like inciting incident where we see the villain commit his or her like crime that starts the thing off, oftentimes then we get a thing of Wayne Manor. And there's also a narrator in this show, which he doesn't really pop up unless we're like introducing a place or something, or it's like the end of the episode or the beginning of the episode, you know? He's not really doing much, but he's there. Let us not forget him. He's important to me. We'll be shown Wayne Manor, and we'll see Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson just hanging out, doing whatever. Sometimes it's chess, sometimes it's stargazing. One time he was practicing, well, not he, Dick Grayson was practicing for like a school play of Hamlet. That's an overachiever right there. He had Alfred on like the floor and everything, like reciting lines, like doing the blocking and everything. That is an invested theater kid. He is every theater teacher's dream. You know, every theater teacher casts like the boy who cannot act because they
need like a male lead. Girls put everything into it.
Real. We love a man who's dedicated to the arts. I wouldn't say a man, this is a boy, but like we love a child who's dedicated to his craft, you know? This will get you big places somewhere, Dick Grayson, especially because you are basically a nepotism baby. You may not be his biological child,
but you are literally a nepo baby. You are.
So then that happens, and then they get like a call from Commissioner Gordon, and Commissioner Gordon's like, hey girl, the Riddler's loose, and we need to get him. So then that happens, and like they like go down to the Batcave. They do some investigating. They often have a confrontation with the villain of the week once or twice in the episode. The second time, one or both of them will be captured, and then the episode ends, and it'll be like, are they gonna survive? Tune in next week, or like next day, because back when this was airing, it was like air the episodes day to day. Side note, my stepdad like actually watched the show when it aired, which is crazy to think about. Like, that's insane. Anyways, he watched the show and he would literally come home from school sit down and like watch the show, you know, like every day after school to see what was going to happen next, which I wish I could have that experience. Like, I would kill not to be a white man in the 60s. That sounds, I don't want to be a white man, but to like see the show airing live and like the hype that would bring is great, because like you just don't get that watching it 50 years later on a streaming platform, because I just click next episode, you know, like you don't have a choice but to wait. That sounds awesome. I would love to experience that live. Anyways, so then the next episode happens, and the next episode is oftentimes them breaking out, or if one of them is captured, like in the first episode, Robin gets captured, and there's literally the opening scene of the episode is Batman being like, I'm literally not going to sleep and eat until I save this child. Father of the year right there. Wish my dad did that. Anyways, so then they break out, or one of them gets saved. Doesn't really matter how, just that happens. Oftentimes there's another fight, and then like the villain will be like, you're never gonna catch me, Batman. Please insert that clip of Eminem being like,
you'll never catch me! I'm the Burger Man!
Anyways, and then they do a few more like clue things, which you would think that it would be like, okay, we need a break, we almost died, but it's like, no, back on the grindstone. I can respect that. Anyways, so things will happen, they yap, they fight, and eventually the villain gets caught, and then there's usually a closing like scene of them out of costume, having like a cheeky moment where it's like, wow, you guys missed Batman and Robin just now, and they're like, you know, and then there's like, not a laugh track, but imagine a laugh track, you know, and then the episode ends. Yay! Okay, so now that I've gone over like the whole vibe of the show and like how the show works, you may be thinking, Mo, why do you like the show so much? It sounds kind of repetitive, it sounds really campy. Why would you like that over like the Penguin miniseries or something like that? Something newer, something that's more serious, that's more like characters grow and develop, and that's very simple. Adam West. I know, it's really sad that a man can determine whether or not I love a show so much, but that's just the world we live in, babe. So Adam West, right here, he's on screen. I promise he's on screen. I'm gonna put him on screen. So he's really cool in this show. And I think the reason I love this show so much is because of the way him and Robin's like dynamic, right? Because I think Batman and Robin as like a duo is really important to Batman's character, because he grows and develops as a person by taking in Dick Grayson. So I get really upset when adaptations cut him out, because he's really important to Batman as a character, because he opens up and he like learns to like love another person. That's literally the plot of the goddamn Lego Batman movie, and that is like
probably one of the best Batman adaptations ever, and that's really weird that a Lego adaptation
that's basically just a glorified ad to buy Lego Batman sets is cooking so hard. But it is. And we love that. Anyways, so that's really fun, and that's really cute, and that's really sweet. But like, you can't just have like chemistry between two characters. But like, chemistry makes it sound like it's romantic. It's not. But like, you can't just have how the actors are interacting be just like that. You need like more, right? And that is Adam West's performance is really funny to me. And not like funny in a bad way, like funny in a good way. There's an entire scene, which I'm pretty sure you can find on YouTube, but I'll probably play it.
Yes, Commissioner. Mr. Freeze wants what?
Hello? I'll see if I can get him, Chief O'Hara.
A moment, Commissioner. Chief O'Hara, this is Bruce Wayne. Mr. Freeze wants what?
Commissioner Gordon is on the other phone with Batman, Mr. Wayne. Perhaps if we put the two phones together, you could talk to him yourself.
All right, Chief. I don't have much time. Batman? Yes, Mr. Wayne. Have you heard Mr. Freeze's scurrilous demands? Just briefly. If Robin and I act as go-betweens, are you prepared to make the telecast at midnight and pay the ransom, Mr. Wayne? I have no choice, Batman. Then may I suggest you tape the broadcast from the commissioner's office an hour earlier, and we will have a dummy package of money. A dummy package of money? That sounds risky. Risk is our business, Mr. Wayne. Of course, Batman, I have the same faith in you that all of Gotham City has. I hope Robin and I are deserving of that faith. I'll make the necessary arrangements and meet you at the commissioner's office at 11. Fine. Did you get all that, Commissioner?
Indeed I did, Batman. We'll set up the tape telecast and have the dummy package of money waiting. See you at 11 tonight. Two fine men, so dissimilar in many respects and yet so similar in others.
Anyways, Adam West basically has to go on the phone with Commissioner Gordon, as you just saw in the clip, and he's basically just like talking to himself, and he doesn't change his voice, and nobody puts two and two together that these are the same people. Like, the commissioner doesn't put it together, and it is so funny to me because nobody realizes it. Also, I really like the way Adam West plays the character because he plays him so straight forward, not like straight as in like, but I feel like I needed to clarify that, whatever. Anyways, he doesn't play the character like really crazy. He plays the character very stoic, very calm, and like very committed to like teaching Robin. I don't know how to explain it. Because like throughout the show there will be like moments and Robin will be like, what the hell was that? And Batman will be like, actually, and it'll be like a whole teaching moment for Robin. I think the only time this vividly stuck out to me is because he said something about women and I like 60s
Sexism. Yeah, but he said something about how like you never understand women or whatever, and I'm like, girl, what?
No wonder you don't have a girlfriend, you know? Which we'll get to Catwoman in a moment, but that's for a few minutes.
Anyways, so he teaches Robin a lot of like things. Their dynamic is really important, but also the way Adam West plays the character is really interesting because throughout the show, there's a lot of women who will be like really like the undertones are there. They are horny for this man, and he'll be like it's like that audio, and it's like I don't remember how it goes, but I'll try to find it. But it's like this like anime girl, and then the guy will be like,
Who are you? I'm from ancient Greece.
Don't deserve you. You should be with a real girl.
Who are you? I am from ancient Greece.
That's literally them with like, not that. It's literally him with like any women ever. It's crazy. He is so devoted to basically just crime fighting and taking care of Robin. It is unbelievable how silly this man is. But also he's really like, I know like one of like the big gags when it comes to Batman is that he just wants to beat people up. He doesn't want to kill them. But really his whole thing is reform, right? Like he wants to reform people. He wants them to be good, right? That's like what makes him different from like street justice vigilante type people. You know, that's why he wouldn't kill the Joker after he murdered Robin, you know, like Jason Todd, like in the comics. Because he thinks he can reform the guy, which like, I don't know how to tell you this, but the Joker is like a toxic ex, and he's never going to change because he's never going to acknowledge your behavior. And you need to move on. And by move on, I mean point the gun to his temple. I'm not advocating for murder, but I am advocating for the murder of a child murderer. I think that makes sense, and I think I'm justified in my opinion of a fictional child murderer. Anyways, Adam West plays the character very straightforward, very serious, and he's like, I don't know, I find that incredibly, like, really, I find it funny, but not just funny, I find it silly and goofy and attractive, but that's, like, a story for another day, because, like, what if my parents see this? I'm sure the subtext was on the wall, but, like, so we're not going to talk about that right now. Dynamic, however, with, like, Robin, really important to me, at least. I think it's what makes the show. Because they never state out loud that this is a father and son duo, but their actions really perceive that. Batman's very caring of Robin. He is overbearing sometimes, I would argue, but he never tries to put Robin in danger, and when Robin is in danger, bro will literally sacrifice himself. There are several episodes where they're both about to be killed. There was one where it was like this, like, there was like this, like, villain team. I wouldn't say team, it was like a family. And they were like this, like, redneck people. And they took over Arkham Asylum or like maybe it wasn't even Arkham Asylum, it was just like a prison or whatever, and they were gonna like electrocute, like kill them by electric chair, and he was like, spare Robin, he's just a child, you can kill me. Crazy, but also fair enough. Like, the paternal instincts are there in this man. It is crazy. But it's also really funny because Robin will be like, no, Batman, don't do that. We have to go out together. And it's like, these two are so, like they are they are glue. Which, like, I didn't realize that was a thing, like, clingy father and son duos, but trauma bonding, bro. I'd probably just trauma bonded. There's like a lot of episodes. There was an episode with Vincent Price, and if you don't know who Vincent Price is, he was basically dubbed the king of horror because back in like the 1900s, which makes us sound so old, but it was like the 40s through like the 90s when he was doing movie stuff. He was like always in horror stuff. But anyways, he played a villain in Batman who his whole theme was like eggs or whatever. But if I'm remembering correctly, in his episode, he was like trying to take over Batman's brain, and he was basically trying to like, Batman was basically trying to like fend off this because he refused to like hurt Robin. And like, that's sweet, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't say sweet, but it's like, even though it's never said out loud in the show, after all the examples I just gave you, you could see what I mean by the paternal instincts are there. The father and son duo is crazy, and I love it to death. Like, I think we need more of that in Batman media, because there's a lot of, like, stuff about how Batman's, like, neglectful or, like, abusive, and those are just, like, fan things. That's, like, a bunch of people's things that they say, and, like, it's just, like, no, girl, I don't think so, because if you write it right, it's not like that. You know, I think a lot of people think just because it's, like, oh, child soldiers, whatever the fuck, it's bad, but I don't know how to explain this, but like the characters wanted to do it. Like, it wasn't just like they were like forced into this. They wanted to do it and they were going to do it anyways. It was better if he just, you know, trained them. Also, there's a character running around who I haven't really mentioned yet, but she's like Dick Grayson's aunt for some reason. Just in this adaptation, like, I've never heard of this character before or after. It's just like a character they made up for this show. And she was in another show that I watched, because there was like a phase I had when I was younger where I watched a lot of like old TV shows, and it was basically like my version of like, I listen to better music than you because I don't listen to mainstream music. It was like that, but with like old TV shows, which is, that was a thing. Anyways, so she's like Dick Grayson's aunt. I can't remember her name, but like she is there just to like cause like funny hijinks in a sense, because she doesn't know that they're Batman and Robin, and so she'll basically be like, Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne are always running around going places together. They're such a funny little family. And Alfred will just be there, and he'll be British, and he'll be like, yeah, But imagine that, but with a man who's British and old. So, like, in season 3, they kind of, like, recasted, or it was, like, late season 2, season 3, whatever. They recasted a bunch of actors, which, like, rest in peace to my Riddler actor. Hashtag only one for me, my only Riddler actor. This is my equivalent of all those girls on Tumblr back when, like, back when Robert Pattinson got casted as Edward Cullen. They were like, hashtag not my Edward Cullen. This is my moment of that. That is my equivalent. Anyways, they brought in Batgirl, which this was a really interesting time because a lot of people know Batgirl is like Nightwing's love interest, which if you don't know, Nightwing is just grown up Dick Grayson Robin. I'm surprised how many people don't know that. Like, not even my parents knew that until I told them. And that's crazy because, like, I thought they liked comic books. At least I thought my mom liked comic books. Apparently not as much as me. Anyways, I thought that was common knowledge. It's not. Whatever. So, like, this was during the time before they kind of changed gears that Batgirl and Robin were, like, the same age. So, instead, it was really she's like a grown woman, but it's really weird because she's not like into Batman or anything. She's just like a grown woman who's just running around with them. Perfect family. Batman, random woman running around as Batgirl, and small child. Obviously, if you like Batman media, you would know that that has been changed. And actually, in the comics, Batgirl and Nightwing, you know, Dick Grayson, Robin, whatever, they're dating. You can like that or not like that. I don't like that, but that's a story for another day, you know? Like, we can talk about why I don't like that relationship, but that's a story for another day, babe. That's for another day. And that's okay. Not everything can be done today. That's so philosophical. What the fuck? Introduced Batgirl, which adds a new layer of dynamic to the show, and I feel like if you've ever seen any Batman memes, you've probably seen the one that was like an ad for like equal like pay for women, and she was like, I should get paid as much as Robin does, and Batman's like, shut your mouth, woman. I don't think they're getting paid. I don't think Robin's getting paid. His payment is father-son bonding time, so why would you get paid, girl? But it was really funny, though, in that ad, because Batman and Robin look so pissed off that she's asking for equal pay. There's a lot of memes that came from the show, you know, like the, like, sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
And the start pounding Joker.
I had you here, I'd pound you to a pulp.
Start pounding, Joker.
I know, crazy. Okay, so going back to the original topic at hand, because I did get a little off track, but like I can't help it. This is my yap session. A yap session that you are watching. I thought that was really interesting that they recasted halfway through the show, which isn't really a big deal. I don't really care. Most of the casting is fine. Hashtag bring back my Riddler. Paul Dano, can you go back in time? Can you fix this? I'd be like that one guy who was like praying to Trump and he was like, please, Donald Trump, save me. Like that, but it's Paul Dano and I'm asking him to bring back the old Riddler actor for the 1966 Batman show. That would be so stupid, but I'm sure Paul Dano could hear my prayer. Paul Dano's magical. Have you seen what he looks like? Magical. Magical. You know what we should talk about while I'm going through this checklist? We should talk about the way characters interact with Batman. Because I did briefly mention that, but I never got back to it in detail. Women in this show are oddly horny for this man. And I don't know... Maybe it was like the 60s, so they couldn't explore this. But girl, women were horny. Adam West, according to his own account, said that oftentimes in his dressing room on set, he would have sex with women, like he would sneak them on. But he said that these women would only have sex with him if he wore the bat suit. Those women, my ancestors, I agree, I concur. Yeah. They were my ancestors. They paved the way. They walked so I could watch thirst traps on TikTok.
I tried to be strong, but I lost it. You taste like the 4th of July. Malt liquor on your breath, my mind. You can be the boss, daddy. You can be the boss. Tastes like a big party back on the sauce.
You know? But they're a dying breed, and I miss them. I miss them so much. But anyways, so women... in real life, we're very thirsty for Batman, which I guess back in the... Of course you were. Hot billionaire? Hot single billionaire? Of course you were. Of course I am. Makes sense. Especially because I bet back then, women couldn't vocalize it, but they would see like a man who lost his parents, and he's all... Well, he wasn't really emo back then, but like they were like, I could fix him. I could make him happy. I don't know. You know, whatever the fuck. Stuff like that. So that's really interesting. By interesting, I mean kooky. But anyways, that really translates into the show. And when I mean it translates into the show, I mean the women are oddly horny for Batman. Especially Catwoman. There's literally this scene where Batman... This is going to sound so out of context, and I'm not giving you context for this episode. Where Batman is trapped in a, like, pit with a tiger, and Catwoman's over top of him, like, looking down from the pit, and she's like... I was gonna date the Joker. But his hair is too green. And the Riddler, he's just so weird. And the Penguin's nose is too long. But I would date you. I want you. And then he's like, I have to fight crime. I have a son to put to bed at 9:30 and get to school tomorrow morning. I can't date. Which is really an interesting dynamic in the show because Batman, I guess you could say he likes Catwoman. I personally never read it as that. It seems like he is so focused on the mission that is justice, he kind of forgets that he is allowed to date people. He never really has a love interest except in the movie, which the movie is kind of crazy, and I could totally review the movie another day if people really wanted me to. Shrug emoji. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I probably would. Don't even lie to me. I totally would. Personally, I read it as he is so focused on, like, justice that he honestly doesn't really give a shit, right? And I always found it really interesting with Catwoman because Catwoman is just kind of there and she's, like, very obviously into Batman. And that's most of the women on this show. And the only time Catwoman really got to, like, experience Batman in the way she really wanted to was in the movie, where she disguises herself as, like a news reporter and she goes on, like, a whole date with Batman. Which, like, girl, that should have been me. It should have been me. I should have been the one to do that. Which, actually, fun fact, that was not the same actress who played her. But it also wasn't the black woman that they recasted. I don't know. She wasn't Julia Newmar. She wasn't the other woman. I can't remember her name, but I'll look it up and it'll be on screen. Because I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to name one person, not name the other. That's rude. Anyways, she was just, like, a third other actress. And I think it was because, like, at the time, Julia Newmar was just, like, booked, swamped, whatever. That reminds me, there was an episode where Batman was running for the mayor of Gotham City because the Penguin was running as the mayor. And it was really funny because there's this scene where these women, like, this, like, couple comes up to Batman and they're like, can you kiss my baby? And Batman starts going on about how unhygienic that is and how he doesn't want to give the kid fucking malaria or something. And then the parents get really offended. And the Penguin, who is fully smoking like a cigar, right? Has the worst smelling breath I can imagine. He pulls up and he's like, I'll kiss your baby. And then he kisses the baby. And the parents are like, we are voting for you. You're going to be the next mayor of Gotham City. And everyone's like, Batman, you have to kiss the babies. And Batman's like, what? No, I don't want to kiss the babies. That's gross. And I think that's really funny because, like, girl, me too. I agree. I don't want to kiss babies either. I don't know what kind of germs they have, and I don't want to give them my germs. My germs are for me. There's a reason they're called my germs. He was so real for that one. But yeah, so after we just went over all of these crazy, like, things, we went over the dynamic of the show, we went over characters, we went over, like, actors, we went over, like, stuff. I don't know. This has just kind of been like a yapping session, and that's okay. Because perhaps you don't need, and I don't need, crazy content that is very, well edited
content is good, but, like, maybe we don't need content that is so heavily scripted. Sometimes you just need, like, a yap session, and your best friend is busy, so you'll listen to a yap session about, like, a piece of media you don't know that much about or anything at all while you draw in the background. I know who you are because I am one of them. Yeah, I know.
So after talking about all of these things, you're probably wondering, Mo, why do you like Batman so much? And, well, not just Batman, but, like, why do you like the 1966 adaptation so much? There are so many adaptations out there. Like, what about the Arkham games? What about the Burtonverse? What about Schumacher? Don't you like Schumacher films, Maureen? I guess. I do. I like them all. But Adam West's Batman will always have a special place in my heart. In my cold, dead, obese little heart. Okay? It'll always have a place there because it'll always be one of the first adaptations that I consumed, that I loved, and that I have, like, based a lot of my Batman opinions around, you know? Like, this adaptation is so important to me in a lot of ways because, like, I don't know how to explain this, but, like a lot of people, I have anxiety. And one thing my anxiety hates is when the status quo of things changes, which is one of my biggest pet peeves in comics because the status quo is constantly changing. So I cannot have a moment's rest in my media with change. This show, nothing changes. Characters are stagnant. They don't change. They are one note. Plot lines and predictability, it is not going to change. You know Batman and Robin are not going to die. They're going to come back. They're going to be fine. And that's okay. I don't need my characters to feel like they're going to die. I know it's fun when they feel like they could die. But if I wanted to feel like they could die, I could just go read the comic where Jason Todd gets killed. You know, he died. Whatever. I mean, there are some times where it's like, oh, is he gonna be okay? Because, like, there was one time the Joker was about to case Robin in, like, wax, and he was gonna suffocate from, like, wax, which is straight up horrific. That sounds like a nightmare. Anyways, there's just, like, a lot... It doesn't change, right? And because it doesn't change and it kind of stays the same, that's great. Second of all, I think Adam West as Batman, baddie. Hottie, baddie with a fatty. You know, like, we need thirst traps, we need edits, we need women putting him on your hear me out cake. Or I guess not like hear me out cake, like a smash cake, whatever. Because, like, hear me out is different from a smash cake. But also, like, I don't know, I just really like the performances of the characters. I like how the characters interact with each other. I like Alfred and Bruce and Dick's dynamic. It's very sweet. It's very nice. I like the fatherly bond because, like, a lot of people, I don't have that with my dad. You can probably tell. But, like, there's just a lot about Batman as a character that I adore, you know? From the fact that one of his favorite things is T-Rexes, dinosaurs, and gray ghosts, right? From the fact that for some reason he has 5 kids, and according to Wayne Family Adventures, he is canonically, like, a try-hard PTA member, and would, like, he hates those moms, you know? There's a lot of silly things about Batman. The fact that he has a gay suit. This show is very interesting because it's very, like... And it's so contained, and it's kind of like a time capsule, because this show really leans into the comic book atmosphere. A comic book atmosphere we don't really have anymore, because comics have taken, at least DC Comics, and I assume Marvel Comics, I don't really know a lot about Marvel Comics, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, have taken a lot more of a serious turn, and, like, they're a lot more serious, they're a lot more lore heavy. It's not just like the status quo, characters are stagnant. Things are constantly changing. Things are constantly evolving. And that's okay, you know, like, we can have that, and that's fine, it's great, but maybe I want something silly. Maybe I want to have a silly haha, you know, maybe I don't want to think, I don't want to feel, you know, maybe the Arkham trilogy, it's great, but maybe I don't want to feel, okay, maybe I don't want to cry, maybe I just want to watch Adam West poorly beat up a thug and hear Robin say the worst phrase you ever heard in your life, like, holy cement, Batman, like, what? You know, maybe I just enjoy the haha moments in life, and that's okay. Like, we don't need to hate on that. I'm really hoping this video is, like, watchable and, like, isn't, like, cuckoo bananas, like, stupid, because this is, like, I hate, like, being one of those people, but this is technically, like, my first ever YouTube video I've made in this sort of format. I've made YouTube videos in the past. Every fucking child on this planet who grew up in the 2010s has probably made at least one YouTube video, but I never made one where it was like this. I was talking about, like, a piece of media, and, like, I ever got this far, because I've written scripts before. I've recorded things before, but I always chickened out at the last minute, so I'm hoping this is, like, watchable, and, like, this is good, and this is, like, funny. Like, I'm hoping I'm funny. I hope you don't just stare and you go, because that would suck. I'm hoping that people like this, and if you do like it, let me know in the comments section. You know, that comment section. This video is probably not going to be that good. The like, quality, probably not the best. My audio, it's going to be a little shot. I don't have a microphone. But, like, I wanted to make a video, right? Like, I wanted to stop postponing it. I wanted to I want to create videos, right? Like I want to talk about things that no one else is talking about. If this video does do well, I definitely want to talk more about Batman media. Like I could talk about why Paul Dano's Riddler is like literally me, my favorite character, why he's in love with Batman, why therefore I'm in love with Batman. You know, like I could talk about that. I also want to like watch and review every single like film adaptation of Phantom of the Opera because only I remember those. I'll probably also, if those do well, I would read. Imagine reading. No, like I would read all of the like books because I own most of the books because I had an insane Phantom of the Opera obsession when I was younger. It was bad, girl. It was bad. And like also I would totally like watch and review Love Never Dies, which like nobody knows about that goddamn musical. And I cannot be the only one who remembers it anymore. Like I know Lindsay Ellis talked about it, but that's not enough. We need more. We need to talk about this more. Like this was a moment in history and no one remembers it. And it's crazy because Andrew Lloyd Webber tried to make it work so much, and I'm getting off topic, that is unimportant. But I'm hoping that this video does good. I guess, you know, like I'm hoping that you like it, and like if you like it, please let me know because I definitely want to make more YouTube videos even if the audio is bad and the camera quality is shot, because like I'm really cute, right? Like look at this outfit, it's so cute, it's so coquette, it's so aesthetic, hashtag Pinterest, you know, whatever the fuck, it's fine, you know, like this is like the one time in my life where I can yap and you're held hostage, like unless you click away you are held hostage. And I enjoy that. Like, maybe I just need to yap at people and you don't judge me, you know? Well, I hope you liked this. It was kind of all over the place, but maybe that's okay because I think that sort of authenticity of, like, it feels like a FaceTime call and we're just yapping, you know? But you're listening and I'm yapping. I think that sort of authenticity, I hope it, like, translates well. Like, I hope you like that sort of authentic style of yapping. And I hope that, like, this wasn't boring. And, like, I hope it's fun. And I hope the editing helps my video. Anyways, bye!